Michael in a Rutgers cap today. Why Rutgers?
Well, I've been representing for the women's basketball team now for a couple of years. So, by the way, sorry about I actually.
This is not that radio show. You know?
No, I understand that. Yeah. I know. I get a little confused here sometimes, and I wore my radio garb here. I didn't realize there was going to be a studio audience and cameras, radio with cameras. So.
But if people saw you in a suit and tie...
Well, that's true. And it's not like it would be that much better than what you're looking at right now. But.
So it is great to have you here, Michael. Welcome to WNYC's new Jerome L. Green Performance Space. And listeners, as always, when we're in the green space, you can also watch our show today via live streaming video at WNYC.org. Now, since the table is about at waist level, you won't be able to see Michael in his shorts exactly. But in the rest of his radio garb. So go to WNYC.org right now if you want to watch today's program as well as listen. You can watch us live with Michael Moore and see some of the clips of his new film that we are about to play.
Shorts is a generous term, by the way, so thank you for that.
I saw the film at the New York Film Festival opening Monday night, and Michael, it is amazing. It is at once heartbreaking, infuriating, and hilarious, and I guess that's what you do. Why Capitalism, a love story?
Well, as you mentioned, it was 20 years ago I made Roger Me, and actually it had its premiere here at the New York Film Festival 20 years ago this week. And for these 20 years, I've been making other films. The films are about subject matters, issues, things, whether it's General Motors or healthcare or whatever. It seemed like each time I went to make one of these movies, the central problem, really the core of what was wrong, always spoke to this particular issue of an economic system that seemed unfair, unjust, and not very democratic, small d, democratic. And I decided this time that instead of just picking the next issue, I'm just going to go to the heart of what I believe is the matter, and bring up an idea that in the year since the crash, I really haven't. I mean, we've heard a lot of different analysis and explanations and positions, but I haven't heard on the talk shows or the op-ed pages anybody just come out and say maybe the problem we have is the very economic system itself, that it is not a system that's well structured for the 21st century. And I'm really tired of the debate between capitalism versus socialism, a 16th century economic system versus a 19th century economic system idea. I mean, we are in a whole different time right now. And aren't we smart enough to restructure ourselves in a way that's going to benefit the people? Because actually, by not having done that, we're now at the point where the wealthiest 1% in America have more financial wealth than the bottom 95% combined.
And if people didn't know that, you've got the graphic in the film. I want to play a clip, and this recalls Roger and Me. Let's start there. This is not from Roger and Me. This is from Capitalism, a love story, but it recalls your debut as you return to GM headquarters.
For 20 years, I tried to warn GM and others that this day was coming, but to no avail. Maybe now they'd listen. So I went down to the headquarters at General Motors one last time to share some of my ideas.
You don't have permission, you can't film here.
Huh?
You don't have permission from General Motors, you can't film here.
I'm just going up to see the chairman.
No, sir. No, sir.
You know, I've been doing this for like 20 years.
I understand,
and
sir.
I have not been let into this building for 20 years.
4776 Bravo or Alpha. Go ahead. It's Michael Moore here to see the chairman.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
you need to get prior permission. You cannot film here, okay?
But if I can't go in and get permission, what am I supposed to do?
I guess they're right. Breaking up is hard to do.
Stop that. Don't do that. Let's go in the building.
And if you ever got in, what would you say to them?
You know, I actually thought they were going to call my bluff. You know, like, here it is all these years later. They see
Well,
me.
they're in much bigger trouble than you are. Maybe they could use you now.
Well, I actually came that day with some ideas on how to save General Motors, how to save our industrial infrastructure, which we do not want to collapse. If we lose that, that's a whole ball of wax we don't even want to consider. First of all, just on a national security level, to allow you to have no factories, to lose your workforce. I mean, just think about that. But forget about the national security part of this. I just think that we're in this new century. The internal combustion engine is not really what we should be building. It's not good for the planet. So what are the new transportation systems that we need to get us through this century? What can we invent? What can be created? What already exists that we're not using? Light rail. Why don't we have a bullet train? The Japanese just celebrated their 40th birthday of their bullet train. They don't need a bullet train. They got an island. You know, just we've got a 3,000-mile wide country.
We need a few bullet trains.
Well, the technology exists for us to get from New York to L.A. in 10 or so hours. I mean, on the ground, it takes that long just to get to JFK and sit there and wait. I mean, I just think we're so much better than the way that we've behaved and the way that we function, and so that's why I made this film, and I'm hoping that it'll generate a good discussion.